In the spirit of Halloween, I thought we'd take a look at this Bela Lugosi Count Dracula action figure from Neca and this accessory set, which is all part of the Universal Monsters range.
I am Dracula.
I've had this Neca Dracula figure and this accessory set in my possession for quite some time now, but I thought it would be a good idea to wait until the month of October, until Halloween, before I actually did the review, and we're finally there and I can't wait to get these cracked open. I'm a massive fan of the Universal Monsters. I always have been, ever since being a kid, but more so in my adult life when I've done a little bit of research on the movies and got to know the lore of the movies. And yeah, I'm just a massive fan. I think one of my favourite films has got to be Frankenstein, but it was Dracula that launched the Universal Monsters franchise. I'm pretty sure that the 1931 release of Dracula, which this figure was based on and which I have in this Blu-ray set here, was the very first Dracula film to actually include dialogue. I think the movies before this were silent movies, and this one actually had a speaking Count Dracula in it that you could actually hear instead of reading the dialogue cards. So this was a big thing at the time, and this kind of kick-started off the Universal Monsters movies, and I believe the next one after Dracula was Frankenstein, and then we got the other movies like The Wolfman and The Creature from the Black Lagoon, The Invisible Man, The Mummy, and they're absolutely fantastic. I like the initial movies more than the ones that came after. I think these are probably some of the best, and this is a great box set. You can get this on DVD, you can get it on Blu-ray, and I recommend anyone who is even remotely interested in the Universal Monsters to pick this up, because it's like having a little bit of history on your shelf. Okay, so without further ado, let's crack them open, starting with the figure. Okay, so as usual, Neca have presented us with a very beautiful box with the original poster for the movie and some shots of the actual figure that you will get inside of the box here. But you didn't come here to look at the box, let's have a look at what's actually inside. Okay, so here he is out of the box, and he's absolutely beautiful. He actually does look like Bela Lugosi. The attention to detail is astounding, but we'll have a closer look at the figure in just 1 minute. I just want to go through the accessories that you actually get in the box. First of all, you get two alternative heads. You get this kind of angry looking face here, which is really, really well done, really nicely detailed. And you also get this kind of stern looking face as well. And as you can see, they've really got the likeness of Bela Lugosi down to a T. Sometimes Neca can be hit and miss when it comes to the likenesses. More hit than miss, but every now and again you might get a miss. And the first one that comes to my mind, and I bring this up quite a lot, is Marty McFly from Back to the Future. He doesn't look quite right to me, at least. But 9 times out of 10, they do a pretty good job. And with this one, they most certainly have. Brilliant. We also get this bottle of wine, or could it be blood? I can't remember from this movie. I've only seen it a handful of times. I'm not sure whether this is wine or whether this is blood. We also get a silver goblet. And we get 3 extra hands. I find it quite strange that we didn't get a 4th hand. I've been looking everywhere. I thought maybe I'd drop one, but I don't think I have. I think they only actually include 3 in the box. But still very nice, and these will go quite nicely with some of the different photo poses we can do later. And then we get this little silver tray, which I presume is to actually put the little goblets on, and maybe the wine or the blood. I can't remember whether that's wine or blood, but yeah, I presume that is what that is for. And then we have the candlestick, which he very famously holds as he's coming down that stairway at the beginning of the movie. Pretty sure that features in that scene. I will most definitely be displaying him holding this. And then we get this plastic bat that Count Dracula turns into in the movie, and it is quite well detailed. It reminds me of those bats that you see being sold at Halloween for like a pound, but this is obviously a little bit better detailed than those ones, and it's quite cool. And you also get this this stand here, so you can actually stand the bat on it. Let me show you now, like so, and you can stand the bat next to Dracula if you so wish. I don't think I'll be displaying him with this, but it's quite a cool little accessory to have with it as well. Okay, so let's have a look at the actual figure, and it comes complete with this rather nice cape. It's really, really well made, really nice quality. It's not too thin, and it just clasps on the back of his neck. It reminds me a lot of the 1989 Toy Biz Batman action figure, what just clasped onto the back of his neck, including like the Toy Biz and the Kenner figures that came later as well. It was very reminiscent of that, how it just kind of clips onto his neck, just like so. And there we have him in his full attire, in his suit, and Neca have really done a stand-up job at doing all of the detail on this figure. They really have. They've got like I said before, the face is just done to perfection. I really like the way they've posed the hands as well, the way they've sculpted the hands. They really give him that kind of creepy, kind of, you know, that kind of Dracula look that he has in the movie. It's just a thing of beauty, considering it's just more or less one colour as well. I like it. I do like it a lot. I think they also do a black and white version as well, which is more in line with the actual movie, which wasn't in colour, but I kind of like this. I think this is kind of cool. I have always said that if I eventually get the Frankenstein figure, I will get it in black and white. That's the only way I can look at that character in black and white. I don't really want to see him with the green face. I want him in black and white like he was in the movie. But with this one, I'm not really that fussed, because Frankenstein is my favourite movie out of the whole Universal line, and Dracula is probably my number 2. But I just think this is absolutely wonderful, and I think it will really benefit from the extra hands that we got in the box as well. Just to giving them different poses when we pose them up later, and like I said, I will definitely be having him holding the candlestick. So now let's check out the accessory set. Okay, so here we have the Dracula accessory set. It's not a very exciting box, but it is quite nice. Neca always do quite a nice job with the boxes. It doesn't look like it's packed with stuff. It looks like there's only maybe a coffin and maybe 3 different creatures here, what you get with it. Let's crack it open and have a look. Okay, so actually this is very cool. You get this very awesome backdrop as well, like the basement of Count Dracula's castle where his coffin is kept, which I don't think I can actually fit it anywhere in here, but that is a very excellent backdrop for some picture opportunities, which we'll do later. And just to have his coffin laid out here, I think will look quite good. Let's just get it. Okay, so here is the coffin which you get in the accessory set, and it is really, really nicely detailed with these handles here on the side. It looks like it's got some little splashes of maybe, I don't know, mold or water damage here on the top of the coffin, which I like a lot. It's really nicely made. It looks like it's got this grainy wood effect. It's actually plastic, obviously. And then obviously it opens up so you can put Count Dracula in there if you wish. But in the movie, I believe it was down here like that. There we go. I believe his coffin was somewhere around here in the movie. I may be wrong, but that looks about right to me. You know, obviously after he comes out of his coffin, he would then ascend these stairs up to his castle at night. We also get a very creepy looking spider with some serious vicious fangs on the front there, which is very nicely detailed and will go well, I don't know, just maybe standing there on the coffin. Here we have this very strange little creature crawling out of a miniature coffin, which I presume is meant to represent Dracula, maybe changing into a cricket. I'm not 100% sure. I don't really remember a miniature coffin being in the movie. I'll have to have a look at that when I finish filming. But on the box it says it's a cricket. It looks like a wasp, but apparently it's a cricket. So I'll have to search that up when I finish filming this figure review. And we also have an opossum, which I do remember being in the movie. I think this was more or less at the beginning of the movie when we see Dracula coming out of his coffin. And then we have this very cool looking armadillo, which has been detailed to perfection. I believe at the time they chose an armadillo to be in the film because armadillos weren't that well known. That's what it says on the internet anyway. Apparently in 1931 armadillos weren't that well known in America, so they chose this because it looked extra creepy, like a demonic creature, and that's why they chose it. I'm not 100% sure if there was any rats in this movie, because you would have thought you would have got one in this box set. I think they went down the cricket, the armadillo, and the opossum route for some reason, which I like. I think it actually adds a lot of charm to the movie. It's very different. Instead of having the usual rats just crawling over everything, yeah, let's have an armadillo instead. Cool. And here we have him rising out of his coffin, and I think that is quite a cool little shot. I've put the spider here crawling out the coffin. We've got the opossum. We've got the very famous armadillo from the movie. Not one rat in sight. Yeah, I think that looks very cool, and I can see now why they sculpted his hand this way, because it just fits very nicely on the edge of the coffin. I think this is a very, very good figure. If you're a fan of the Universal monsters, if you're a fan of Count Dracula, this is a brilliant figure to own. It really is, and I'm going to be so happy to put it up there on my shelf. Let's get this guy in a couple of poses, and guys, remember, have an awesome Halloween.